cow today. Your degree
Pretty
isn't anything.
much. I mean, pretty much. So it's like in this industry, it's what like I think you said it best yesterday is what can you do
For me today,
today?
today,
Like what can you get done? How quickly can you get it done? You
So,
know.
so Andrew, we're not trying to squash your desire. I think a high GPA is a good sign of some things. I think that a genuine passion for this industry is obviously great, and if you've got that passion, eventually you're going to break into it, and it doesn't matter. What I would probably recommend that you start doing is you make a blog of some kind, and start actually making sure that and the more competitive the subject matter of the blog, the better, and make sure it's on the first page. So if you go to somebody and say, look, not only do I have a good GPA, so I know how to learn quickly and do stuff. I've got a passion for this industry. My passion is so deep that I started this blog, and maybe the blog is a subject that ultimately you don't really want to keep doing. You just want to have this blog out there and then optimize it and get it on the first page. And you can say, this is what I'm doing, right? Because I recognize that SEO isn't about book learning per se. A lot of the things that we talk about, I think a lot of the value that we bring to the SEO community is kind of how do we think about things. Mm-hmm. It's not like, okay, now your keyword is this, insert keyword in title 3 times and insert keyword in first sentence once, and there is nothing specifically systematic about it. It's a lot of processes, and there's a lot of thought processes. In fact, one of the things we're going to talk today about is keywords, and keywords has everything to do with logic and very little to do with systemization, and we'll see that here in a second. So take it up another level and do something on your own, and what that'll do is give you give you a leg up when you're in and interviewing. What you can do is you can talk about this is what I'm doing. I'm so passionate about this, because you can say you're passionate, and you probably are. You're listening to this podcast, but if you've got something tangible and say, look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I've been working on, just give me a chance, because what I've done for this I can certainly do for your company. And if somebody knocked on our door and said that, and that's real experience that you can create on your own, and given the timeline with Google, you can do that in 2 months. Now, I know you're probably looking for a job maybe a little bit before 2 months, but if you end up accepting a job that's not really your passion, first off, that's a nightmare. I understand you may need to do that for money, but advice, just do it for money, and understand that what you're gonna do is create and do some SEO and bring some tangible evidence of your passion for the industry to whomever you're speaking to. We would love to talk to people who have actually stepped out on a limb on their own, because that's a huge sign, I think.
Here's a piece of advice: listen to a podcast. I'm not gonna say which podcast.
Some podcast, yeah.
And learn as much as you can about search engine optimization and impress people with your knowledge. I do all the time. Not really, but I'm just saying that.
You actually impress people around the world with your knowledge. So that's what do you do? Whatever you do, don't start a podcast.
Yeah, seriously though. At least not about search engine optimization.
And it better not be more entertaining than ours if you do, okay? And less informative. Both of those I would support 100%. All right, so let's talk about the conversation that I had with Google. It's going to be a little bit of a discussion into frustration. It's going to be a discussion into the fact that the salesperson, at one point I try not to do this in these situations, because I remember my dad is an Air Force colonel, so it's pretty high ranking in the military. And I remember every now and then in these situations, it was so embarrassing. He would pull out, I'm a full bird colonel in the Air Force at the grocery store trying to get trying to get better service. And I'm like, really? Like, this guy doesn't care that he doesn't give a crap.
That's pretty awesome, though.
You did it more than once.
Flip that out there, like, hey.
And so I try, I'm on the phone with him, and I'm trying to explain some things to him because he doesn't understand, and I'm trying not to, like, pull rank or whatever. And at one point I said, look, the reason that I'm trying to explain this to you, I understand this industry. I am one of the hosts of the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. This is what I do for a living. And so here goes. as we mentioned, last podcast maybe, or 4 podcasts ago probably, because it was before we interviewed Ken. So 4 podcasts ago, which would be podcast 50, I think. In podcast 50, we talked about Google sponsored local ads. And Google sponsored local ads is where you can pay $25 and they'll put like a little yellow post-it next to your Google local listings. So that we're all on the same page, if you go to Google, just google.com, not Google Maps, not Google Images, not Google anything else, go to Google and type in lawyer, Houston, you'll see a section, and it's usually between 5 and 10 businesses that are in the Houston area. In this case, they're lawyers, because you typed lawyer. In that, you'll be able to see a couple, and apparently this program they're only doing in San Jose and Houston. Interesting collection of cities. And you'll see this little kind of yellow post-it and then a faint highlighted sponsored ads, and it's supposed to make it pop out more, and then you click it. And I told you 4 podcasts ago that he said our click-through rate for one of our businesses that is listed at this address is patrickwanas.com, quit smoking and lose weight. And he said that, you're only getting a 5% click-through rate. And, well, we understand that a 5% click-through rate is actually not that bad. Certainly in advertising, you look at pay-per-click, and they're desperate to get 1%. And so it was actually pretty good. And he wants me to spend money on that. I'm not going to spend it on that one because, if somebody is looking for weight loss hypnosis Houston, they're probably looking for a hypnotist in Houston. Patrick is in Miami, and he sells CDs. So the conversion from somebody who's looking for a hypnotist to help them lose weight in Houston over to a CD, which is a tough sale, or over to a phone consultation, because Patrick can do a phone consultation, is also a tough sale. So I wouldn't spend any more money. If anything lands on our lap, we'll do that. Then I started talking to him about eWebStyle. He goes, you have another business. You got all excited. Yeah, how many more do you have? Maybe I can get lots of commission today. And so right then and there, I Googled internet marketing. And in your case, if you're not in Houston, you'll type in internet marketing Houston. And there's no local listings, none at all. So it's just organic results, no local listings. And you do that for any of the keywords that would be relevant to our Google local listing. No local listings at all. And so I'm trying to explain to him that, and I literally said this, you could sell me dancing naked women on my ad.
Sold.
But that was easy. You don't get to answer phone calls when they're trying to sell us stuff. You can sell dancing naked women on my ad, sold. And if my ad doesn't show up, you have sold me no value. I've just thrown money. Well, it's effectively like I've experienced a dancing naked woman. I've just thrown money away for no reason at all. And so I'm trying to explain this to me. Literally, this took between 30 and 45 minutes. And one of the things that I was hoping he would say is, well, the reason there's no local listing is blah, 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 which I don't exactly know why there isn't a local listing. Why is there a local listing for lawyers and not for internet marketing or online marketing? People are just as apt, even though it's internet-based, to want to actually, shake hands and have a face-to-face conversation with their internet marketing guy as with their lawyer, So I don't know why there isn't a local listing. In fact, we were discussing there used to be.
I mean, at least for search engine, for SEO Houston, I swear there used to be.
Yeah, so for SEO Houston there was, and now it's gone. I don't know, maybe the allergies took it away. Who knows? And that's actually scary too. If they're going to take away your Google local listings for your subject matter every now and then you're paying $25. Again, you have the dancing naked ladies in the corner and no one can see them, and it's pretty bizarre. What I was hoping he would say is, once you buy the sponsored ad, then we'll guarantee that Google Local will show up, and then you'll be in that list, and you'll have your little post-it looking thing. Well, I found one of our competitors in the city of Houston who is already paying the $25. I found it on Google Mobile Maps. I mean, no, just Google Maps. So clearly it's not the case. They've already got a sponsored ad. They're not going to get on the front page. So this was a very long conversation. Well, it was pretty interesting, and kind of one interesting note. you can look up in your local business center, you can look up the number of impressions that your business local ad has had and the actions. And in our case, we had 64 impressions and 32 actions. That's exactly 50%. I was impressed with 5. Imagine what I'm thinking with 50. Well,
that's actually pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what I'm actually thinking is they were looking for us specifically. So they went to Google Maps and they typed eWeb style, or they typed eWeb, or most popular SEO podcast in Houston. So they knew about us already.